Howdy ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Texas Victory Yard. My name is Jared. In this episode, we'll be talking about how to plant beets. More specifically, we'll be talking about how to plant beets in trays in the house and then transplanting them into the garden. Traditionally, beets are planted directly into the garden, sown directly into the garden. However, I like to plant them in the house and then transplant them into the garden. There's two main reasons why I like to do this. The first reason why I like to plant inside the house and then transplant them outside versus just starting outside is because outside you're going to have environmental changes that you can't control. Inside you can control all that, and so your germination rate is going to be higher. Also, as far as diseases go, you're going to be able to control disease better in the house because you can control those environmental factors, so you're not going to have as many diseases such as damping off inside versus outside where you can't control it at all. The second reason that I prefer growing in the house versus outside is that each beet seed, is actually a cluster of seeds, so it can produce anywhere from 2 to 7 plants. And so if you plant it outside, you're only going to get one plant. You'll have multiple sprout up, but you're going to have to clip them off, so you only have the one plant. If you plant them inside, once you bring them outside and you transplant them, as you transplant them, you can separate them, and so you can have anywhere from 2 to 7 plants per seedling versus just one if you plant them in the garden. So you're going to have a lot more plants. So to start our beet transplants, we're going to need a seed starting tray. This particular one that I use is 200 cells, and I'll post a link to that below in the description. Also, you're going to need a tray to catch the water and the extra soil from the transplants, and you're going to need a seed starting mix, which is very fine soil that we use to start our seedlings. And the reason we use this is so that it's easier to germinate. The fine soil, it's easier for the seeds to germinate in this. So we're going to start off, go ahead and take our seed starting mix and fill up our cells with the mix. Make sure it's broken up and loose. So go through, make sure all these are full. So once we filled up our seed starting tray with seed starting mix, we haven't packed down the soil or anything like that. We just laid it over top. We're going to go ahead and take our seeds, our beet seeds, and we're going to put one seed per cell, just right in the middle on the very top. Just lay it in there. And then we're going to take an object, I like to use a 1-inch nail. Some people can use a pencil. And you're going to mark it. We want a 1/2 inch marking. I use a Sharpie marker. I use 1/2 inch down the nail. So I take it and you put the broad end down on top of the seed, push it down, and once it gets to that mark on the top, you can see that it's down 1/2 inch because we want the seeds planted 1/2 inch. You go down, just push it 1/2 inch down and come up. And just go along doing that for all your seeds. Once we plant all our seeds, we want to go ahead and water our seeds. And the best way to do that is to water from underneath. And we're going to go ahead and take our tray from underneath and fill it halfway up with water. And then take our soil tray and place that on top of it. And wait for the water to soak up to the surface of the soil. Once you notice that the majority of the cells in the tray have turned a dark color, you know that's done watering. Go ahead and take that top tray off. And the bottom tray, we're going to take this water that we put in here, we're going to empty it into a bucket. We don't want to keep the water in here because it's going to promote mold and fungus and disease. So we're going to have this empty here, and then we're going to put this back on top, and then we'll put it underneath the lights. And every day we're going to go through the same procedure, and this will help to keep the seedlings watered and at the same time prevent any kind of mold and the fungus and disease. Once you've planted your seedlings, you can wait about 24 hours and then place your grow lights above the seedlings with a timer set to give the plants 12 to 16 hours of light per day. In addition to the lighting, we also want to place a small fan on the seedlings to increase the air circulation and prevent mold and fungus from forming on the surface of the soil and causing disease. The fan should lightly blow the seedlings. The movement of the seedlings caused by the fan will strengthen the stalk of the seedlings and help keep them from getting tall and leggy. Once the seedlings are 2 inches tall, you want to transplant them. From the time you plant the seed to the time the seedlings are ready to transplant will usually take about 2 weeks. If you wait too long to transplant the beets, the roots will be more established and there will be a greater chance of damaging the root structure. And since beets are a root crop, we want to minimize any damage to the root structure. Once the seedlings are ready to transplant, you're going to make 9 equidistant holes per square foot to place the beet transplants in. You can use any long, thin tool to make the holes. I use the hand tool normally used for weeding to make my holes. In order to remove the seedling from the tray, you will need to take a tool and gently push up from the bottom of the tray to loosen the seedling. I use a 5/16 inch drill bit. You can use a pencil or some other tool depending on how wide the drainage holes are. Once you have loosened the beets from underneath, you will gently grab the leaves on the seedlings. You should not have to pull on the seedlings. They should be easy to lift, gently lift out of the tray. If they do not lift out of the tray easily, you will have to loosen them more from underneath before trying again. Do not grab the stem of the plant because it will more than likely cause irreversible damage to the seedling. If the stem is squeezed, the seedling will die or will not grow optimally. If there is more than one plant per seed, you can gently break them apart at this time by gently crumbling the seed starting mix with your fingers. Once you have all of your seedlings in the ground, you want to water them carefully. I use a turkey baster that you can get at any kitchen supply store, making sure to put water around the base of each plant and not on the leaves. You can also use a liquid fertilizer at this time to help jumpstart the growth of the beets.